Let's go. We have been released from therapy after watching 2 nights of, quite frankly, what was the biggest load of shit I've ever seen. And I'm my co-host will agree in a second. But let's welcome the co-host first because it's been a while. The founder of Hitting the Turnbuckle, of course, returns, and I'm sure he wish he hadn't now. Mr. Andy Burrows, welcome back, sir.
Oh, dude, I never usually say no to you when you ask me to jump on and do these things. It's always a pleasure to come back home, as I say, and hitting the turnbuckle. But fucking hell, I think wrestling's dead, mate. Wrestling's dying slowly with what we know as professional wrestling, dude. But yeah, pleasure to be here and be on with you, mate. Not sure it's going to be a good listening slash viewing for the good folks tuning in on YouTube.
And if you're WWE fans and you loved what you saw the last couple of days, definitely switch off now. I will warn you,
Mm.
because this isn't going to be good. You kind of said it there, though, man. The thing that come out of your mouth was wrestling as we know it is dying or dead after WrestleMania, which is a really good talking point. We were texting this morning about, Travis Scott getting an entrance midway through the Cody Rhodes John Cena match. So for everyone that's watching, actually, we normally would go through the matches and all that shit. I mean, to be quite honest, go and view it if you really want to. Go on Cage Match, you can get the results. Well, John Cena won the World Heavyweight Championship for the 17th time. That's fine. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, is wrestling now dead as we know it? Another question is it now all about the celebrities more than it is about the wrestlers?
I think it's the modern era that we're living in with fans. TKO, when they acquired WWE, at the time we were all like, look, we all knew what had gone on with Vince and we knew why he was never coming back. But if you purely put all that to the side, and I know that's very easier said than done, but let's be honest, he was found not guilty and, you know, with
Hmm.
brown envelopes under a table, etc., etc. But he understood the wrestling business. He understood pro wrestling. He understood why we all like pro wrestling. He gave us pro wrestling to what it was versus good guy versus bad guy. I don't know if you remember when WWF changed from WWF to WWE, they done that big montage where Vince McMahon was like, I don't want your intelligence to be insulted. You are just used to good guy versus bad guy. But he understood the fundamentals of professional wrestling. Them fundamentals, as you move now into 2025, are all about, like you say, celebrity guests, clicks, likes, and it's the world we live in. I get it. We're sitting here recording a podcast. It's on YouTube. I get it. We do these things. The multimedia world that we live in is very different to what you and I grew up in. But when you scale it back and you watch a show last night and you have a rapper come out to entrance music in the main event, and I saw a lot of comments online today, a lot of them from European fans and UK fans, and were like, after people don't know who the fuck this geezer is. It's
Yeah.
only if you had watched the Elimination Chamber, etc., etc., then you might kind of know who he is. But the fact that the match stopped, and I've stupidly watched it back, the match stopped for a good 5 minutes while he done that stupid walk down the ramp, carrying that title, stood on the ramp. John Cena obviously having to tell him what to do, where to stand, etc., etc. That's where we are now with wrestling ads, unfortunately, mate. This is what TKO are bringing to the table. Let's no bones about it. This is what Dwayne Johnson's bringing to the table. He runs that shit. You're telling me he didn't have any say in last night's outcome main event, the way it was written, except we're going to get to the writing in a little bit because you just sent me the thing about the Netflix documentary coming up where they go behind the scenes in the writer's room. But Dwayne Johnson's got a lot to answer for this. They done a setup at Elimination Chamber with him in the ring, with turning John, probably the biggest heel turn, I'm going to say, since Hulk Hogan in the NWA.
Yeah, easy.
Easy. So you set that up. Finally, you're thinking, oh, okay, this could be quite good. The build up to Mania. Haven't seen The Rock once since. You literally had a drunk Stone Cold Steve Austin on the show last night. That was probably about it. I mean, how you cannot have Dwayne Johnson on the show? How he cannot book himself? You always said in wrestling, you want payoffs and you want storylines to, culminate in. It doesn't get any bigger than WrestleMania. What was the point of The Rock doing that whole heel turn with Cena if you're not ultimately going to have him in the ring at the end and you've got a rapper that no one really gives a shit about helping with the end of the main event? Obviously, he took the crossroads from Cody Rhodes and then that stupid stuff with the belt backwards. Didn't even finish with a finisher.
Nope.
Finished with you getting whacked on the head with a belt, kicked in the nuts, 1, 2, 3, and you're just left so disappointed. But it's unfortunately, mate. I've read so many comments this today. You know, we sit here what 6:30 on a Monday night. I've since WrestleMania's finished, I've listened to podcasts, I've watched the YouTube shows, I watched the Pat McAfee show today with John Cena on it. Even he's now saying what we know as wrestling, he's going to take the last glimmer of it with him. And I think there is some truth in what he says. It's not all scripted and make believe. I think where we are going now with the TKO era of wrestling is going to be like nothing you and I have ever witnessed before. And I think we're going to fucking hate every minute of it.
Yeah, if the last two nights have anything to go by, it's a tough, it's certainly a tough watch. I mean, your point that you made there about Dwayne Johnson or The Rock, depending on what you want to call him nowadays. I mean, CEO, I don't know, whatever, shareholder. Um, he said, as you said, he sets this up at Elimination Chamber. You think, great, wow, wow, we come off the epic. This is great, can't wait. We've been waiting for this for so long. It's happening. Cena's turned heel, fantastic. We knew he was going to win the title. It was just a matter of when.
Hmm.
So they
Hmm.
chose last night, fine. But when you even go back further to like WrestleMania 40, his input there, he's had this hatred for Cody, even though that he's when that Raw first come on Netflix, he was like, oh yeah, I was Dwayne Johnson, the CEO, so I gave Cody his flowers. And goes back to hating Cody at the Elimination Chamber. Why would you do that and then not show up to basic, even to assist? My ending was, and it was quite funny. 'Cause I was talking to Dave yesterday after night one, and I said the ending for me would have been Rock comes
What
out.
comes out? I watched it, yeah.
Yeah, Stone Cold comes out. He stuns the Rock. They brawl to the back. Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman come out and cost Cody, whereas because Seth was his shield last year.
Hmm.
So, from my opinion, it would have been great to have it that way. Cena walks out. Then you've got Rock, Heyman, Seth, and Cena. And then you've got two full-time
Us.
guys to go
Hmm.
again with Cena in the background. But The Rock needs to, if he's going to commit to this or he's going to be doing this sort of shit, he needs to fuck films off for like what Cena's doing from I think it's now until the end of the year. Cena's like, this is what I'm doing. Rock needs to do the same.
Yeah, I don't think it proved, mate. If you're not going to do it for WrestleMania,
Yeah.
you ain't doing it for Raw, SmackDown, Backlash, SummerSlam's the next huge one coming up. Again, that's 2 nights. Yeah, someone made a great, I don't know if I screenshotted you this one. Someone made a great point on social media today. It never happened now because, again, what we said, the era that we're living in, WrestleMania needs to be one night.
Oh, yeah, it does.
It needs all this too. And SummerSlam, I've got a horrible feeling that SummerSlam's going to be exactly what we witnessed this past weekend. But yeah, you're right. Dwayne Rock, whatever you want to call him now, we'll call him Dwayne because he's the like CE run. He's like head of TKO. He's like the top man there. Don't post pictures on Instagram if you're just sitting in Hawaii. You can't come to the biggest event of the year. This is Wrestling Super Bowl. For those that don't know, or you've been living under a rock forever, this is it. This is where you get the culmination of a year's long worth of storylines or whatever they've been. Saturday and Sunday night is where it either ends for good and you hit Raw the next night and you reset like Triple H always says, new season. They've done that clip on WWE.com earlier where they just chucked the paper on the floor and he went,
Yeah.
okay, we're starting a new season. Fresh season starts now. You know, there's no off days in WWE. But for Dwayne not to commit to anything at WrestleMania, whether that's scheduling, that just makes the whole ending to Elimination Chamber stupid. Why? You could have just turned Cena heel without The Rock, really. You
Yep.
could have had him embrace Cody, kick him in the nuts, and
Boom.
boom, you're away. And even this heel turn hasn't been very good. I mean, if you're going to turn someone heel, you don't come out to the same music. You don't come out with your same gear on. You don't the hustle, loyalty, respect. You just don't do it. You go full Hulk Hogan. Probably can't say his name in pro wrestling anymore, but when he turned, he turned. You know what I mean? He was in the red and yellow, and then the next night, oh, Monday Night Nitro, when they come out in the black, and it was like
Yep.
the NWO was born. You do something like that with Cena, or you could have got an absolute badass faction. You could have had Cena, Rollins, Heyman do something together
Yeah.
for the run for the year, and it could have culminated in something really good at the end of the year. We're talking probably like Survivor Series ish time when Cena's good, but now he's saying he's off. He's off to the. He's taking his title with him. This is going to be the end of this wrestling era as we know it. And yeah, I'm really worried for the sport that I grew up with. We'll call it sports entertainment that I grew up with, that you grew up with, that Dave grew up with, Parker, Fiona, all of us that do this. it's not what I was sitting there on Saturday. I watched Saturdays on Sundays. I watched last night live pretty much. I nodded off a little bit, so I caught up with the rest of it this morning. You're just sitting there, you're thinking, there's what, I don't know how many people there did that Stone Cold say 76, whatever thousand, how many people were there.
Yeah.
All of that, a lot of them people, you're gonna have the new era of fans, and you're gonna have I'm not to sound like an old dinosaur here, but I sit there and I watch pro wrestling now, and I think this is all just clicks, likes. It's all like advertising in the ring. And I get that's the world we live in, but don't step away from the fundamentals that got you to where you are. Vince McMahon always understood that. And for whatever criticism you give him outside of professional wrestling, he always understood the fundamentals of pro wrestling and why us as fans loved it. I'm really, really worried about the business now. Really worried.
I'm going to go back to the Rock and stuff because obviously he does all of this. If you're Triple H, and
Mhm.
obviously, look, he has a say. We know he does. He must be literally banging his head on a desk, thinking like, "Well, we've done this setup." And maybe he's not. Maybe he understands it. Maybe there's a long thing. They'll always come back. Oh, it's a long game and all this bullshit
Mm,
that The Rock said last time. But if you're like, if you're Triple H, and me and you were Triple H, you've got to be banging your head on the table, surely, and thinking, why the fuck have we done this for you not to show up here? And actually, there's not even been a reason. Cena's not, I mean, he did like, the press conference, he was like, I think this is clickbait. I'm not going to answer
yeah,
every
every
single question.
answer. Yeah.
So it's like, if you're a booker or a writer here, or you're Triple H, you've got to be frustrated as hell, surely, right?
When you wrote that, so when that part come up about The Rock coming out at the end of the Elimination Chamber, and there had been little seeds, like you said, he come out on, if you remember after last year's WrestleMania, he come out on Raw and it was like, Cody, I'll see you again down the line. And we're thinking, oh, we're going to get Rock Cody at some stage. We didn't. Then you get fast forward to Eliminate. We saw The Rock very sporadically throughout the year.
The bad
Turned up on
blood,
Bad Blood. He turned up on, yeah, he come out of Bad Blood
that
and done it
countdown
and
thing,
count,
didn't he? Yeah,
which is obviously to the Netflix premiere.
yeah.
We saw him at the Netflix premiere. Then I think we saw him once more on SmackDown, and then we saw him at Elimination Chamber. So you and I have talked for years and years and years about story arc. When you're writing this story arc, like Eric Bischoff said when we first interviewed him, you have a beginning, you have a middle, and your end. But Vince always knew that, like right now, the end of WrestleMania 41, he already knew the kind of where he wants to get to for WrestleMania 42. I dread to think what WWE will probably be thinking now. But when you're writing that arc, right, Rock's at the end of Elimination Chamber, right? So you've got from Chamber to Mania. What do you do with Raws and SmackDowns in between? What do you set up that's ultimately going to end up with us sitting down on Sunday night at WrestleMania Sunday with The Rock in the ring with John Cena? Because, like you said, you made a great point. We all knew it was going to happen. It was just how, what, where, when, and do that. Well, we know where. It was WrestleMania. But to not do it at all, at what stage did they think Travis Scott's the answer? When, why, how does that ever go through? And to give him the music here, and you can see everyone thinking, I ain't got a clue whose music this is. And then it comes up Travis on the
Yeah.
Titantron, and you're just like, oh, I was like you, mate. I was like, fuck this. I was like, can we just get to Cena winning? And then we got to Cena winning with one of the worst finishes I've ever seen in wrestling history. And a few people I spoke to online that were there, they were like, oh, it's different if you're actually there. No,
No,
it's not.
no.
It doesn't matter if you're in the arena, in your front room, watching it on your phone in the bathroom. It doesn't matter where you were. This WrestleMania was probably the worst WrestleMania of all time. And I'm including WrestleMania 9 in that because that was really bad. So, but to come back to your question, yeah, I mean, what goes through these writers' minds? Is it the fact that they've been pulled into the room and Paul Levesque, Triple H has gone, we've got to change this. It's come down from Dwayne or it's come down from whoever. TKO have said they want this. We need to put this rapper in because it's going to get us God knows how many clicks, likes on various different platforms. Is that really where we are with wrestling now? WWE don't need likes, clicks, and shares and follows. Probably in the top five known brands in the world with Disney, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Nike. You can put WWE in there. You put the
Yeah.
WWE up logo anywhere in the world, people will know that's WWE. So they don't need to do it. It's just the fact that it just proves everything, mate, in the world. You only got to look at like Twitter now and everything. Money talks, mate, even to the WWE. Me and you had spoke about Saudi Arabia loads of times. We first mentioned that when they first went there, and you were like, blood money. Me and you were
Yeah.
like, yep. And it's now gone full 180, mate. It's flipped. I cannot tell you how disappointed I am with wrestling right now.
Yeah, it is not looking good at all. Let's just talk about that now because you mentioned the writers. Well, we were mentioning the writers just then. Now that they have, I mean, we're talking like the fourth wall has literally now been
Gone.
fully knocked down. Coming to Netflix in the summer is, I can't remember what it was called, Uncut, I think it's now called.
Hmm.
They're going to take you inside the writer's room. Now, there'll probably be bits that you don't see, obviously, that there's going to be bits on it that's cut out for sure. But we have obviously interviewed Vince Russo and people like that, and someone like Jim Cornette.
Well, he'd be losing
He
his
would
shit right
be
now. He'll be having babies.
he's gonna be literally pulling the walls down over in Cornet Quarters or wherever the fuck he lives. He's gonna be going crazy about this because there is stuff. There was, I mean, if you watch the making of WrestleMania or at least the little trailer, Undertaker was on it, and he was talking. He's like, I'm sort of, he was showing in character, and he was like, what the fuck's this? This was before WrestleMania 9. And then he was talking and saying, afterwards that this is kayfabe, and I have to be. I was standing there thinking, what the fuck's going on? Because I've got to be, in character, and outside, behind the curtain is my sanctuary, so to speak. With this just knocks down anything believable about wrestling is going to go when that documentary comes out in the summer.
Yeah, it's kind of like we're now in 2025, and it's now like they've gone. Do you know what? Like for those that haven't seen, John Cena was on the Pat McAfee show today, and he said this is the last remnants of what we know as professional wrestling. Is that title that he's got? You think Hogan's had it, Warriors had it, Bret Hart, named everyone, Randy Orton, all the greats have had that title. He's now taken that with him. And with this documentary, I get it. Look, you want as much access as you can. I like the WWE 24, where they follow you
Mm.
around like the
Yep.
nights and days leading up to WrestleMania. I love all that. That's fantastic. And I get you want to give the fans more access. But why in the world now can we not just have anything that's traditional? We get it, it's scripted. Every movie I go and watch and every movie I review, I know is scripted. It's not real. It's meant to be entertainment. You don't need to tell me. I don't need to see Triple H backstage with one of the Usos going, we're putting a rocket on you, we're pushing you to the moon, this is what's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. I don't need to know that. You've got to leave some things to the
Yep.
imagination.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, what's the point?
Mm.
If I saw your review of David, and I saw like other people talking about it, and you guys got near the end of the show, you were mentioning you all knew how Sunday was going to end.
Yeah.
I knew that Heyman was going with Seth. Everyone and his dog knew what was happening, weeks and months leading up to it. Gone are the days, I think, in wrestling. It's very, very hard to do now, the element of surprise. That's a lot of reasons why people like wrestling. It's a lot of people reasons why they like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, all the big ones. You're thinking, right, the Royal Rumble. I'll give you a perfect example of what I think now has dried up and done, and you're going to testimony this to more than me because you watch it and you're very heavily involved with the product. I'm so bored of the Joe Hendry thing now. They're just using him as a gimmick. They're just using him as a gimmick. He's a TNA World Heavyweight Champion, tremendous at what he does, and I get it. They've put him over a few times now. He's been at the
Yeah.
Rumble. He's been at a few events. For me, just stop using him as a gimmick. Either bring him into WWE and use him properly, and have this proper crossover with TNA because you're sprinkling it in NXT and you're sprinkling it over on TNA's shows, Impact. Um, but you're not really. You gave us a cheap pop last night with
Mm.
him coming out. That's what it was. Don't get me wrong, it's great for him, and I know he's been on social media saying, I got to wrestle Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Tremendous for him. But how many times are WWE going to do that? They've done it at the Rumble. They've done it at Mania. They keep wheeling him out because he's got a great entrance music. They've now got a World Heavyweight Champion. He's probably only champion because he's got a great entrance music. Let's be honest. If it wasn't for all the yeeting and God knows what else, would he really be champion? You're tapping out Gunther. Is he ever going to tap out to a sleeper hold? What's this, 1985? So yeah, mate. Back to the documentary. It's another worrying thing, but again, this is what TKO want, mate. This is what, unfortunately, this
Netflix.
we can, us as wrestling fans, and I keep saying it from a certain age now, we're probably gonna have to get used to this if you want to carry on watching wrestling. You'll get sprinklings of "fuck me, that was good,"
Mm.
or you'll get really, "oh, that was a good event." You'll get sprinklings of that. I'm not going to say we're not going to sit here. Me and you could. I think last year when we had Johnny North on, our traditional
Mm.
backlash guest,
Yeah.
um, you get things like that. Me and you were like, this pay per view doesn't rate very good. It come from France. It's probably the pay per view of the year. I'm going to say it was up there.
Definitely up
So
there.
who knows? Backlash might be good. Is this the new normal that even me and you might have to think, right, how the fuck do we get our heads around this if we want to watch professional wrestling? I don't know the honest answer, mate, to be honest, because after last night and Saturday night, I'm not sure I want it.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. The one big surprise that did happen was the news that WWE have acquired Triple R from Mexico. I've seen, and I don't like bringing AEW up, and I don't like crossing over the. I've seen some posts for some AEW fans and about this, and there's a couple are like, well, we really appreciate Tony Khan because when he does these sort of, and it was a dig, it was a slide dig without them saying it. It was
Hmm.
a slide dig at the WWE. There's rumors now that they're going to be rebranding that NXT Mexico, which brings you to my next point. Do you remember when we had NXT UK and there was just going to be this big NXT Europe thing? Is that going to be on the cards now again?
I think it's gonna be again. All about that, mate. They think they can. Not that they need it,
No,
but
don't need it.
billionaires want to get more billions and more billions and more billions. It's why the rich get richer and the poor don't, mate. The poor get poorer. Um, yeah, I think it will happen. Again, it's just another. It's more content put out there. They could have their own Twitter show, Facebook show, YouTube show. It's not going to be. There's only so much wrestling you can put on TV. You know what I mean? You might have to quit your job soon to review all this, by the way. You know what I mean? It's going to be 24/7. And I just hope the lucha stuff is really good. And if you're talking about sacred wrestling, it doesn't get more sacred than that. The lucha libre, it doesn't get more sacred than that. Long before WWF, what we now know as WWE, AEW, WCW, long, long, long before you and I, long before anything, that's where wrestling was. In the carnivals, in the circuses, back in the God knows when's. Lucha Libre was it. I've watched so many documentaries where you go to Mexico. I think Becky Lynch done one when she was out for a while. Was it Becky Lynch that went to Lucha Libre for a bit and
Probably.
just spent some time there? And you're like, wow, this is the history of professional wrestling. Now, if they take this and use it for clicks, likes, shares, follows, etc., wrestling really is dead, mate. Really, really is dead. I mean, we can now kind of see why they brought Penta in
Yeah, and Ray. Been
and Ray.
upstairs.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense now, mate. So again, I hope it's another one that they don't get and completely fuck up, but I've got a horrible feeling they will.
We'll see. Two new ones. Well, say two returns that are going to be happening. Didn't happen at WrestleMania, but one of them as early as this coming Friday is going to be the return to WWE of Malachi or Aleister Black, depending on what you want to call him. And then potentially could be tonight. I don't know if it's going to happen tonight or what, but Rusev is going to be coming back to WWE imminently. Just want to get you that. And what I will do after that is I'll run down the results of WrestleMania because I know we're talking and everything, but we kind of skirted around WrestleMania, but it's fine. It's what we're meant to do.
This has been more entertaining than
This
the
has been more
WrestleMania.
entertaining
Yeah,
than
I've
yeah.
enjoyed this more than the 4 hours I watched last night.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a bit skeptical about these kind of returns and stuff. And I know we're going to get a lot of people going to WWE from or returning maybe from to WWE from AEW. We're probably going to get a lot of people going to AEW from WWE when their contracts are up. That's a good thing. It's a natural thing. But when I've looked at the last couple of ones that have happened, like I've gone from one to the other, it hasn't worked. And it's funny enough because they're coming back. So it hasn't worked over there. Which then brings the point to me, and this isn't a hit at AEW because it didn't work for them in WWE the first time. So they went away. None of these two pulled up any trees in AEW, and apparently Malachi Black was difficult to work with. Rusev was rejecting every pitch that was made for him. Are they going to work back in WWE now? Because if you look at them, I know the Motor City Machine Guns are not necessarily the right people to use here. They've done nothing. What are these two going to do any differently from their first runs?
You said it there, mate. Nothing. They're going to come back. It'll be an okay-ish pop, probably more for Malachi back. You
Yeah,
really want to see Rusev? Where are you going to put him? What's he going to do? Who's he going to feud with? Unless you're completely changing his character, then
yeah.
maybe. Unless they have to have him. Malachi Black can't, ideally you're probably going to keep him ish as the same kind of character that he was
It was the same when he was
before.
in Dynamite.
Yeah. I mean, what do you do with Rusev? I mean, he had it for a little bit. You had Rusev Day that caught on
Cena
for.
killed him though, really, didn't he? Let's be real.
Yeah, Cena killed him, and you had The Rock come out and kill him, and literally his missus on a Monday Night Raw once with the whole, the USA thing. And I just think, mate, they'll get lost in the shuffle, like you just said. Motor City Machine Guns, one of the best tag teams to ever lace up a pair of boots. Couldn't even tell you what they're doing now, really.
They're actually in a TLC match this week on SmackDown,
There you go.
which is Why don't another thing? I'm gonna let's just run down the results, and I'm gonna say,
Killian Cross is another one. Wow.
oh mate, I've seen
Saw the
his promo.
promo.
I think.
Oh, it's
Oh
incredible.
my Christ.
How that guy isn't getting, anyway.
Anyway, right, let me just run down. So Jey Uso won the World Heavyweight Championship. We know that he tapped out Gunther, rightly or wrongly, don't know. We'll find out. New Day won the tag titles for the 15th billionth time. My ending was better for that. Big E screwing than
Hmm.
would have done it. Jade Cargill defeated Naomi. Fair, but it was sloppy as fuck. We saw there's a few moments in there where she's not quite the finished article yet.
Nope.
Yet, I mean, Jesus, she's had a long time. Probably one of the best, not say one of the best matches, but probably one of the best results of the evening was Jacob Fatu beating LA Knight.
Yeah.
Jacob has been one of the probably the biggest plus in the WWE
Hmm.
for the last calendar year or so, maybe 6 months, maybe or so. Now, I loved to hate this because I love Chad Gable. I don't like what they're doing with him. But I mean, Dave said it right last night. He turns chicken shit into chicken salad, whatever you do. Like with it,
Mm.
he literally he will take it and run with it. He was El Grande Americano. He beat Ray Phoenix. Ray Phoenix losing his third match in. I know he was. I would have rather Dragon Lee, and I think Dave said that. Why couldn't it have been Dragon Lee? Because
Agreed.
subbing
100% agree with that.
yeah, subbing for Rey Mysterio, who was Stratton defeated Charlotte Flair. That was just an absolute abomination of a match. Considering these are meant to be two of the biggest. Again, I said this to Dave last night. I don't know whether there was too much animosity and it didn't work because of it. Sometimes it's great when there's animosity there because it helps build. Like I'm gonna get into in the next match because there is that legitimate heat. These two didn't work. I don't know.
No, it was not. It was reminded me of Austin Goldberg kind of.
Yeah.
We all knew that he was off and fucking he was done with WWE. And last night, kind of, yeah, on Saturday night, sorry,
Mm.
the entrances were good. It was set up to be something really good, but I think you're right. I think there was too much, not pressure. It's probably the wrong word. I don't know what quite is the word for that, but that match just missed big time. It was the right result though, to be fair.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right result. Just the match didn't
Yeah,
hit at all. And then obviously Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman aligning with Seth, which we all kind of knew he was on the card. Defeated Punk and Heyman, but that was a match where the hate that animosity works with
yeah.
because
That match saved that Saturday night.
yeah,
Absolutely saved it because it was getting a 1 out of 10 from me up until that.
yeah,
It crept up to a 6 because of that match. Good to
indeed.
see Punk in the main event as well.
Yeah, Punk getting his jump. I mean, look, there's whatever if you like him or hate him or whatever, he deserved that moment, and he didn't care. He's smiling at the end of it, talking to the referee,
Yeah.
which you've got to be very careful of when you with the
When you're
camera
calling
shot.
spots as well, yeah. When you're calling spots and you're not,
Fucking think we heard Cena call it from here
yeah,
against Cody.
yeah.
Like again, hit me again. Night two, to be honest, they should have put this main event. Io Sky defeated Bianca Belair.
Oh wow, what a match, mate!
Loved
Absolutely
that match.
incredible.
Right winner in my opinion as well because she was always the one getting pushed out of the way
Hmm.
between the two. But do you think because of the I hated this on socials. I don't do racism on the show, but there was so there's a certain race out there that's saying that we're booing. Oh, Bianca Belair's entrance, everyone was booing it, and she was just doing black empowerment. And it was like, no, they're booing her because they want her to turn heel because they're sick of her being a face for the last 3 years. Where the fuck have you been?
Yeah, that was
And
purely a wrestling angle. They want her to turn heel. She'll be great as a heel. You
and the
just should have.
Street Profits are kind of healing a bit at the new song, which
You put
like I
her
love
with
it.
them.
You've got it
Boom,
there. And
money.
it's there. It's there ready to go, isn't it? It's just a flick the switch moment. But right result on that one. Definitely the right result with McIntyre and Priest. McIntyre getting it. That was another great match, by the way. Sin City Street
Mate,
Fight
the
match.
finish was fucking tremendous.
Yeah, I loved that. I thought it was really, really good. And I even loved, to be fair, the Dominic Mysterio winning the Intercontinental Championship.
How over is that kid now all of a sudden in
He's
the last
gone
few
from like
weeks?
the most hated to like one of the most loved.
Honestly, he probably got. That was one of the biggest pops of the night.
It was. It
Easy,
was.
and again, a good finish.
Another great finish. I did
The
again predicted it last night that
the
he'd pick up.
spear
I've
off
been
the
thinking for
table,
ages. Yeah,
Bron Breaker,
I,
mate.
I predict. Yeah, I mean Braun Breaker, megastar. By the way,
He's getting thrown into the title mix now. He'll be Uso's opponent at. I
you
think
reckon?
Gunter will get it at Backlash.
Reckon
Breaker
go for what?
I think so, probably,
Braun
mate.
Breaker, Money in the Bank winner
Literally about to say, great minds, mate. Great minds. Literally about to say that.
should definitely. He'll be there. I mean, I did. I mean, again, I predicted it. I've said it for a while ever since that there was teasing the split or the issue in a Judgment Day that he would pin Finn. I kind
Hmm.
of got that. Randy Orton did defeat Joe Hendry for in about 3 minutes.
What do
Um,
you think of that as someone that's involved with the TNA lot quite a lot? Do you think they're wasting Joe Hendry?
I think this was a receipt because they were meant to use him in Scotland and they
Hmm.
didn't. And they
Hmm.
said to him that you'll get it back, kind of thing. For him just to walk down the aisle with the TNA World Title at the WWE biggest show of the year probably was enough. But I do agree with you. There is a sentiment thing, but there is a time because they were gonna bring him in. So they were gonna bring him in to have a program with the Miz. TNA refused it because they didn't want Joe because the first thing he was gonna do was lose to the Miz as
Hmm.
TNA heavy, and they were like, no,
They were
we,
like,
we're
nah.
not we're not going to do that. That's not going to happen. So I kind of get that. So to be honest, he was never going to beat Randy Orton. That was never going to
I just
happen.
feel WWE are using. T they're meant to be here to elevate TNA.
Yeah,
I think they're just using them for cheap pops at the minute. They've had some
possibly.
okay stuff on NXT, don't get me wrong, and a
Yeah,
few NXT, but that's what they're only using NXT at the minute. News if you really, really want to help TNA and push it, and look,
put him on the main roster.
I watch some of the stuff that you do. I watch a little bit of TNA still when I've got the time. If you really, really want to help them, put them on Raw and
Yeah.
SmackDown.
Well, the other name that was uh, apparently was put out there was Jeff Hardy to have gone against
Yeah,
Randy Orton. That would have been a match. I mean, that wouldn't
yeah,
have been a 3 minute, squash.
no,
Not
that
as a
would have been
squash.
good.
Yeah, I would have liked that. Yeah, I don't have a massive issue with it, but I don't, as you say, I don't want them to be used as cheap pops and filler.
Hmm.
I would like them to be. I know again he was subbing for Kevin Owens. I get that. That would
Yeah,
have been, but I would have liked someone to have come in and had a match with Randy Orton rather than 3 minutes and Orton just hits it. It was a funny RKO to hit. Don't get me wrong.
turn around, smiled, and bang.
Yeah, bang, and he got drilled in the RKO. That was funny, but
Mm.
I agree with that I don't want him to be used or as a pawn. If he's going to go, he's probably going to go there when his contract's up. I think it's at the end of the year. I think anyway.
They could have used Austin in that match as a special guest referee as well. That would have
That's
helped.
he was drunk though. Let's be real.
I can't wait
For
to get to
no,
that bit.
yeah, we'll literally get there in a minute. Becky Lynch returned, subbing for Bailey, who was injured. No, anything to get Becky on. This is
Said
the
she's
one.
back full time now, though. She done an interview
Yeah,
about 2 hours ago. She said she's back. She's full time. That was a little bit of a tomfoolery last week when she said she was done with wrestling. You're
yeah,
kind of like,
of course it
yeah,
is.
I want to
Well,
start. I want to have another kid. And then, yeah, she said, I read something on her social today. She said she's full time.
here's my thing, and I wanted to because they won they won the tag team championships from Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, her and Lyra Valkyria. My problem is with this, and I said this to Dave yesterday. I want to get your opinion. Lyra Valkyria is the women's Intercontinental champion. Chelsea
Mhm.
Green is the women's United States champion. Why oh why are they not defending their championships at WrestleMania instead of having these fucking celebrities coming out and doing all that shit?
Goes back to what we said at the
It's
start, mate.
money and clicks, right?
Money and clicks. That's what wrestling. They chose money and clicks over matches and pushes and storylines, etc., etc., etc. Everything that what's the fundamentals of wrestling? Good guy versus bad guy. I get that. That's kind of cliche and not really
Yeah.
around anymore. You want good storytelling. You want longevity in some of the stories which we've got for the last 5 years with the Bloodline, which we've got for the last years with Cody, and you ultimately want it culminating at WrestleMania if you can. I get it. Other storylines finish throughout the year, but when you're on
Yeah.
the road to the biggest event on the planet, but WWE have gone, yeah, but that's not going to get us on the front of USA Today, or that's not going to get us on ESPN, or that's let's look around last night. Every celebrity they were panning to had some dwarf from the UFC. They had a million rappers that I've never heard of. Everything in the crowd was like, "Who are you? Who are you?" All the Euro, you can just imagine all the European fans go, "Who are you? I ain't got a clue who you are. I don't care who you are." You know, that's unfortunately goes back to what we said at the very, very start, mate. It's where we are with wrestling, and it's pissing me off.
Yeah, I would have loved him to have defended them titles. Could have had somebody else in the tag match. Could have had Becky Lynch team with it. Could have had Becky Lynch team with Bailey for fuck's sake, and
Yeah.
have Lyra defend against whoever, number one contender or
What
whatever.
goes through
Chelsea,
your head, right? That you go, we're going to write Bailey off the card.
I
What
don't
we
know.
said earlier, we're talking about storytelling and writing and booking. What moment do you sit down and go, she's one of our most over superstars of the year in the last calendar year? WrestleMania's WrestleMania.
Yeah,
That's how
yeah.
wrestling works. And you go, I know what we're going to do. We're not going to put her on the card at all. We'll get her beaten up backstage. She's done. Unless she's legitimately got an injury.
She hasn't.
She hasn't.
No,
Then what goes through your mind when you can't get her on the card and you go, Becky Lynch, don't get nothing against Becky Lynch. I think she's done a tremendous job in what she's done. She's had her time off, and let's not begrudge. Everyone's on there. Oh, well, she's part. Let's not begrudge the woman raising a family for fuck's sake.
no.
I mean, there's a long time after wrestling where she's gonna want her
Yeah,
family and stuff like that. So she's done that now. Full credit to her. But I just don't get what goes through a writer room when they go, yeah, let's not put Bailey on WrestleMania.
don't know.
You know,
I,
ridiculous, mate.
and Chelsea Green for that.
Chelsea Green,
She
Killian
did.
Cross. Let's not put any of them on WrestleMania.
Yeah. I mean, Karrion Cross did come out in the Logan Paul AJ Styles thing.
Well, yeah, but
That's,
yeah.
now, but I mean, that's probably the basis of the promo, and maybe we'll
Mhm.
find out tonight on what's going to, apparently the Raw's going to be exciting tonight. Apparently, according to Triple H, Raw's going to be.
It can't be any worse.
Well, well, let's not quote you on that.
Yeah, I'll watch it tomorrow.
Yeah, me too. John Cena will obviously beat Cody Rhodes, as we know. Look, let's talk about a couple of funny things quickly from WrestleMania. The first one, I'm not going to be the Austin one just yet. The first one, did you see Bret Hart's facial
Oh,
expression?
Triple H. He
Yeah.
really don't like that man, does he?
What? I mean, we don't know what was said. Obviously, he spoke to Steve, didn't he? He'd done something. Steve shook his hand. Steve was smiling, and then
They
Bret.
they
Well,
cut that bit of the it was right at the start. No, it was at the end, wasn't it? They
yeah.
when they shook hands, they cut their promo short. So I read this morning from multiple sources. Their speech was cut short because Triple H wanted a full hour to himself.
Well, okay, maybe we can, maybe I can understand then.
And
I thought it was hilarious.
Bret Hart's never liked him anyway.
No, that goes back.
Imagine having he would say everything that me and you have said in this whole episode. He is what, and again, I'm not sitting here going wrestling shouldn't evolve.
Yeah.
He gets the tradition
Hmm.
of why we love this sports entertainment, why we love wrestling. He gets it, and he's probably standing there thinking this is not wrestling. But you can buy that trophy that they got given, mate. You can buy that for $1,500 if you want on
Yeah.
www.shop.com.
You can
You got
buy
a
John
spare?
Cena's
Yeah,
Elimination Chamber outfit for
yeah. If you've got a
$75,000.
spare $1,500, mate, just go and buy it.
Yeah, yeah. No, wouldn't have it, even if I did. We ain't going on that shit. The other funny thing, which we've been spoken about, and there's a load of videos on the line. Stone Cold Steve Austin, obviously drink driving. He's
Ah,
ATV. He actually crashed on the way to the stage, which was another thing that somebody's put out. And then when he tries to drive it around the ring, he hits the barricade, and this Karen, as I call her, because I can't think of anything else, does a Ric Flair style delayed fall. It's like he hits the barrier, and then she jolts back, and then she falls on the floor.
it's
And
almost
even
like
Austin,
someone whispered to her, "You're gonna make some money out of this." Well, yeah, sorry.
yeah, and even Austin was like, "Fuck's it,"
Yeah,
It got as bad as that Nick Khan had to go over there, and I think it'd be hilarious if he went there. And if you're going to sue us, my first name's Tony.
yeah.
Um, but I mean, there's some funny points, but that being that, these things happen
The
at WrestleMania, doesn't
green
it?
green t-shirt guy got to walk down the ramp.
He did, he did, and he was at the timekeeper's table during something or other. And also someone got run over by Dominic Mysterio's golf
Yeah,
cart.
on the way out. Yeah. To be fair, you
Don't
can
take
in that
fucking
video
pictures.
you can see him like move, 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 and they're all there with their camera phone. Yeah, fucking serves you right. Fucking run them over.
Absolute idiot. So that was, I mean, that was the funny point. So, okay, so here's the, I suppose where do they go from here? So here we go. Who's Jey Uso's first opponent going to be? I know Gunther. Get Gunther out the way. Who's next for Jey Uso?
I'd like to say Braun Breaker.
Mm,
I'd like to say it won't be. It'll be Gunther. Are they going to throw his brother in the mix at some stage? The whole jealousy angle.
oh, Jimmy. Uh,
Not really
they've got
doing
to do a
much over on
draft for
SmackDown.
that.
That's going to be the next. That'll be advertised in the next couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. There'll be another shake
Second.
up. Yeah, something will happen. There'll be another shake up. Not Gunter. Bron Breakker. Is it too soon after? Does he get a
Yeah, I think
rematch for
so.
the IC title?
I think it's too soon. I don't want him to lose it.
Randy Orton.
Wrong show.
He's gonna.
Currently.
No, they'll work it somehow. Randy Orton will somehow be over on that side of the. But yeah. Who else is there? It's quite worrying. There isn't really
That's. I mean,
Seth.
yeah, that's probably an easy one, isn't it, to
An
look at?
easy one, but then what do you do? Roman, he's on Raw now, technically.
Yeah.
Technically, he's on Raw.
I mean, he goes anyway. I mean, he's a tweet. He just
Cody's apparently taking 7, 8 months off.
is he?
Might see. Apparently, he's been. Everyone's saying he's having a long sabbatical from WWE. You might see him this week in Raws and
Sure,
SmackDowns
he'll
or
be
whatever.
see on Raw tonight. We'll find out, I
But
suppose.
apparently, he's taking a big. Apparently, he's
Chunk
taking
off.
Yeah, apparently because he's like obviously worked pretty much every night for the last year, apart from little minor injuries here and there. Apparently, it's been highly. I think Warren Sapp reported it earlier, or someone like that.
Hmm.
Said yeah, he's going to take 6, 7 months off.
Interesting. We'll have to see. Jay from I don't really know. I mean,
Seth would be the easy one, mate. But like you say, is this brand split really a thing anymore? I mean, I don't
no.
know. It'll probably be Gunter at Backlash.
Yeah, yeah. Backlash we can kind of write off as WrestleMania
Yeah,
rematches,
Backlash is
can't we?
yeah. And then moving forward, what have you got after Backlash? Do they go to Saudi again?
No, I don't think they go to Saudi till November this year. 'Cause they're only doing one in
Oh,
Saudi
okay.
this year, and
So
then they're
then
going
you'll
to do
have
and then do the Royal Rumble, aren't they? Over in 2026 Royal
that's a point.
Rumbles,
Yeah,
Saudi.
so that's probably them. I mean, you've probably got what? SummerSlam's not till August.
Yeah,
Um,
that's where I can see the change potentially happening with Jay.
yeah,
Potentially,
two
Money
night
in the Bank
SummerSlam.
in between that.
Yeah, Money in the Bank is probably the next big-ish one before SummerSlam. Um, so yeah, it's going to be, mate, honestly, I don't even know if I care. At this point, I'm so disheartened with wrestling and what I witnessed at the weekend. Yeah, I don't know. I
And
don't
then,
care.
so if Cody is time off, who's up for Cena? Randy?
It's got to be Randy in it. Do you want to see that?
May I don't know anymore. I don't know. I, I would have loved Brock Lesnar to have come back
Cena's
or something
keeping
like
he's
that.
keeping the belt for most of the year now. That's it.
When does he lose it at retirement or does he lose it before and then turn? He's going to turn face again because he's not going to go out a heel. There's no doubt, but
Do
he'll
they do
go
it?
out.
Do they reset wrestling? Go on, have you watched the Pat McAfee interview yet?
Yes.
Do they reset wrestling?
Does Cena
The
come out
era,
with a
the
speech?
era, with the era that we're in,
Mm,
do they completely reset it? And then
yeah.
starting next year, and the fact that I'm saying these words at the Royal Rumbles in fucking Saudi Arabia. And by the way, how the fuck is the WrestleMania in New Orleans again?
I don't.
Any danger of like London ever getting a look in or somewhere else? It just seems to go to like LA, New Orleans, Miami, Florida area, and then back again. Is there any danger? New Orleans, they've literally just been in New Orleans.
Yeah,
What
no.
I mean, again, like when Triple H said about, oh, London have got to bid, they've got to win. Where's this bidding thing for WrestleMania? Like, how much? Like, obviously, LA have paid a shit ton. The revenue it brings into the local area, I get it, but New Orleans again already.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Come on, man. Fucking hell, you're taking the Royal Rumble to Saudi Arabia. We've had money in the bank.
Yep.
That's it.
And we've had an extortionate price to go to Raw and SmackDown.
Oh, dude, yeah, I don't want to ask you how much you paid for your ticket, but I got offered one on the day of Raw for 900 quid, and I was like, fuck
There's,
off.
I know, just talking to AW about AW again. Will be interested because the tickets for
Double
Forbidden
or
Door.
Forbidden Door at O2. Have you seen the prices for Glasgow?
I saw the cheapest was 30 quid and the most expensive was 600.
Yep.
Um,
600 for AEW.
yeah, I
If
mean,
they're
if they,
wrestling in my garden right there, I'm drawing them curtain.
I, I mean, I won't be paying crazy amounts. Let's put it that way. I mean, it's not even the biggest show of the year. I mean, it's not an all in, all in
Yeah.
to a degree. I can.
Forbidden Door is just more of a, it's like a
It's an indie show.
showcase.
It's an
Yeah.
indie show. That's what it
Hmm.
is. It's going to fucking Progress or Rev Pro, just
Yeah.
bigger,
Does it
potentially bigger
elevate
names.
storylines? Not really.
No, because it's like a one-off, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's
But
a
then is it
one-off
harder to
show.
build them kind of shows? Because you've still
Well,
got
yeah,
listen, that's another thing for me, that the art of building a show seems to be going out of wrestling as well. You know what I mean? The art of really, really getting us like fucking, I cannot wait for WrestleMania. And this is, bear in mind, this has all happened in a year. We've gone from
yeah,
probably arguably the best WrestleMania at WrestleMania 40 in God knows how long. It was fucking me and you sat there talking about that, and it's one of the
yeah.
best WrestleManias of all time. Fast forward 365 days, and me and you were sitting there going, what's happened in the last year to A, the company, B, the industry in a whole. If you actually sit down and break it down, if you went and looked from last year's WrestleMania till this year's and really analysed it and looked at it, you'd be like, fucking hell, people like Travis Scott, people like these gimmick things that they're doing, everything that they're doing now is purely licks, clicks, and shares, which is not easy for me to say. Um, and again, they don't need to fucking do it. This is like Disney World, doing something like you don't need to do it.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola, you don't need to do it. They're just Coca-Cola are good. They stick to their normal advertising and make funny adverts, and we all know Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Disney, Nike, Reebok, etc., etc. WWE do not need to do this,
Nope.
but they're choosing to. But mate, could you imagine the money that they've been offered to do all these things?
Stupid
Sponsorship
amounts.
in the ring. Travis Scott ain't gonna be cheap. You know what I mean? What's
Well,
his name?
apparently, according to Triple H, he's near full, going to be full time.
Don't, Adam, what are you doing to me? What are you doing to me?
There's your money in the bank winner, Travis Scott.
That happens, I will never, ever, ever watch wrestling ever again. Bookmark that. I'll never watch him or that other Muppet that got speared by Bron Breakker.
Oh, God, show speed.
Dude, if he was obviously he was at last year's WrestleMania when he dressed up in a bottle of Prime. He was at
Yeah.
the Rumble. Again, it's where we are with wrestling, mate. Maybe this. I tell you what, if they can get their shit together, now is the perfect time for an AEW. I know TNA are kind of dictated to by. This is the
Yeah.
problem. TNA is dictated to now by WWE. It only really leaves independently AEW and everything I'm reading, hearing, and when I watch you guys chat about it. And don't get me wrong, it's right. I mean, but are they really in a position to jump on and go right? We'll get the quote unquote wrestling fans back.
Yeah.
Nah, they're not.
They're definitely not. But it's been fun. If anything else, but
Yeah, it's
it's
been
like
like therapy, isn't it?
that's why I said that we need to for February. Maybe we need another
We're
session in
not going to be
February.
the only
But
ones doing it. I've watched three of these kind of things today, mate, and that exactly what me and you have just said. A lot of them have just been like, it's not what
yeah.
we know as wrestling.
Well, let's not talk about that. So let's talk about your completed it pod. What have you got coming up on there? You've had a lot of good names at the minute, but what's coming up?
Oh Jesus, yeah, I'm absolutely loving doing that. So anyone that wants to check us out at Completed It Pod, just type it into YouTube Completed It Podcast. You'll find us. Had Tom Arnold on talking about working with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Toro Manamu. I always get his name wrong. Played Shredder in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Interviewed him yesterday. We got the Star Wars Revenge of the Sith 25th anniversary show dropping on Friday. Yeah, we've had so many cool guests. We've had Jeffrey Wiseman, who was in the Back to the Future movie. He's come on. We've had people from Star Trek. It's just a fun, friendly pop culture show. Haven't touched. I think we've done what mentioned wrestling once, but anything like pop culture, we usually talk about. It's a lot of TV. It's a lot of movies. I'm going to the cinema a hell of a lot in the last. I've got the Odeon Limitless Pass, but yeah, at Completed It Pod on Twitter, Completed It Podcast on YouTube, mate. Just come and check us out. If you love your movies, your TV shows, etc., your DC, your Marvel, we got you covered.
There you go. And Dunstable's finished up for now, or is there
Yeah,
still
we
stuff
finished
going on?
11th. No, we had our last game. We lost away at Tring at the weekend. Lost 2-0, but finished 11th. Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. But yeah, Talk of the Town podcast is still going well. If you're into your non-league football, it's Talk of the Town podcast. So you're probably best just to go to at Dunstable Town FC on YouTube and Twitter. And yeah, all our shows that I host are on there. But we done all right, mate. Yeah, what about Canvey? How did they finish? You still going, right?
Last they lost today. They're not going down. That's the main
Oh, there
thing.
you go, mate. It's
There's
amazing.
no relegation. It's a relegation fight. So they got one more game left.
You
So
need to have a word. We need to get a Dunstable Canvey friendly sorted. Put in a word.
I have to see if we can get that or get drawn together in a cup. We'll have to see. But also soon to be starting up again, Commanders stuff because
Yeah,
NFL.
the bunker's on a break at the minute. Obviously, the NFL season
Yeah,
isn't on at the minute, but the draft is this weekend. My good friends, one of my co-hosts, Andy, my one of my best mates, Scott. Scott won Fan of the Year, so he's going
he
out to
is.
the
Can
draft.
see that.
He flies out tomorrow. Actually, the draft's this weekend. Come in, so yeah, the bunker will be starting back up probably in a couple of weeks. It's one of them, you know, when you know it's like life kind of gets in. You can't do everything all the time as much as I'd love to. So like the movie stuff is easy because you can record like three shows in a week and then drop them whenever you. I don't know,
Yeah,
teaching you just you know all about it. But yeah, the bunker will be back probably in a couple of weeks once all the draft's done. And the Washington Commanders are really good now, so it's a good time to be a to be a Commanders fan, mate. But yeah, so yeah, lots. I've got lots going on at the minute, but completed it is the main one that's flying at the minute.
good. Well, we look forward to seeing that. I can just do two things that's coming up. We're going to do. Fortunately, he's got injured now, so we're going to talk to one of the standout Brit guys who's having a really good run. Was Riot Cabaret, all of this stuff. Was going to debut at Ignite, and he's now been got some internal bleeding going on. So he's not. His name's
Oh,
Bart O'Connor. So we're going to talk to him tomorrow, and then on Sunday, I'm sitting down with. So if you know your traditional tag team wrestling, and you remember WWE back in 2000, and I want to say five, six, seven, you will know Deuce and Domino, the tag team, and their manager was Cherry.
hmm
Talking
I
to
do.
her. this week. And there's obviously all the other review stuff that we have going on. Fiona will be back on Wednesday as well for NWA. I've got to have a bit of fun with that on Wednesday, and then anything else will be TBA. I love using that word now. So WWE used it for the last 2 days, quite a bit. But Andy, it's been great, man. Can I pencil you in for Backlash?
Yes, sir. Count me in. It's on a Saturday, right? The 10th of May.
Something like that, mate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we've got to get Johnny North on. He's our traditional.
he is.
Let's
He
reach
is. If
out
we
to
can
him. It'll
make
be 3 years running that we've had him on.
after Backlash, right? I'll have to look at
Yeah.
that. If it's on the if it is the 10th, I need to
I
double
think
check
it's
that.
Saturday the 10th of May.
In which case, I'll be doing it on my holidays in Cornwall, but that's fine. I can do
Oh,
that.
I didn't end well last time you went there.
No, I've been back
I,
since.
oh,
We're all
Woo.
right. We're okay. We don't have to. No, it's on the. Oh yes, Saturday, May 10th. Yes, so the next day, the Sunday. Yes,
Count
I'll
me
be
in.
in Cornwall. So yeah, we'll be there. He'll be there. I'll be there. Make sure you're there. And if if you've enjoyed this, then fucking hell, go and get some therapy along with the rest of us. But you can follow us at HTT Buckle on X, HTT Buckle on YouTube, Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast on all other social media outlets. And it's always a pleasure. I will see you for Backlash. I'll see the rest of you this week. Until next time, everybody, buckle down, stay safe, and goodbye.